every night.
I remember that. Absolutely.
But all the details, what I ate in your house, I remember we took prasad in your house. I don't know, how can I remember all those things, and I don't even think we had pictures those days. The cameras was there were those throwaway cameras. Remember that? Those were those days. It was still film before digital. It was before I had actually gotten a camera in Hong Kong in '96, a really nice camera, but I don't think I would carry it to Dubai when I came at those days.
Yeah.
All my fundraising activities were in Dubai, nothing in Sharjah much.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are people to meet there, but my habit was to walk around in the market in Dubai, the textile market, electronics market, building materials was there at that time, food market.
We're actually live on Facebook, so
right. Anyway, you want to should we start with the?
Yeah, we'll start. So Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to the School of Vedic Studies. Today we have the second session on the synopsis of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are honored to have in our presence His Grace Basu Ghosh Prabhu. As you also see the picture behind Basu.
Can you hear me? I cannot hear anything. I cannot hear anything. You can hear me now, so what to do? I can't hear, I don't know why. I cannot hear anyone. Should I? Okay, you can all hear me. So should I begin then? I mean, Rasakrita Prabhu was speaking.
Sorry, there was some issue with my Zoom. So yeah, we'll continue.
So shall I begin now?
Yes, Prabhuji, please.
Okay. So we're in 4th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Pratama Skanda, 1st Skanda. And here the rishis who are gathered in Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunaka, they're questioning Sutta, Ugrashrava Sutta. And he begins to narrate, I think, the birth of Shukadev. So that's, this is a very famous verse. Maybe Rasakrita Prabhu, when I'm speaking, you could take some notes, because you were asking me which are the key verses. And I can't, while I'm speaking, I cannot take notes.
Okay, I'll do that. Sure.
So the verse number 5 is a very, very famous verse. as I recall. No, maybe it's the one before this. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the exact shloka. Well, I guess it's the first verse. Wow. No. How is that? I think no, somehow I'm not. Anyway, there is a very famous verse here. Yam pravrajantam anupetum upetum, but I'm not remembering the whole verse, and I'm not finding it in the English. Oh, Krishna. So Shukadev was born and he ran away. He ran away from home. So after running away, he remained naked. It was 16 years he spent in the womb of his mother. He was a total transcendentalist from the time he entered the womb of his mother. So this is adbhutam. This is very wonderful. We don't have any other such example in Vedic literature. So later on now, the description by Shukadev of Vyasadev is made. So Vyasadev divided 4 Vedas into one. So this is the 19th verse. So that's a very important verse. Chaturhotram karma shuddham prajanam viksha vaidikim vyadadad yajna santatyai vedam ekam chaturvidham. So Vyasadev took one Veda and compiled and divided it into the 4 Vedas, Rig Vedas, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. In Gita, in Puranas, Mahabharata, all of these granthas, Vedas are considered the source. Manu Smriti, Manu Samhita, Akila Dharma Mula Vedaha. I don't remember the exact verse there, but the source of Dharma are the Vedas. And we shouldn't forget that. Gaudiya Vaishnavism is teaching that the Bhagavatam is the highest book. What is it called? Nigama kalpa taruhu galitam phalam. We had that. Actually, that is yesterday we didn't go over that exact verse, but I think it's the 3rd verse of the 1st chapter of the 1st canto. Now we're in the 4th chapter. So Nigama means Vedas. Kalpa taruhu, wish-fulfilling tree. Kalpa vriksh, the tree that fulfills all desires. So that wish-fulfilling tree's fruit is Bhagavatam, but the name of that tree in the analogy is Nigamaha. Nigamaha means the Vedas. So the source of all of this is the Vedas, but ordinary people could not understand the Vedas. Although Vyas tried to make it easier by dividing one Veda into these 4. And he gave his disciples different Vedas to preserve them. Now in text 21, Shloka 21, it's mentioned that Paila Rishi was given Rig Veda. Jaimini, who compiled the Mimamsa Sutras, by the way, one of the Shaddarshanas, 6 philosophies, was given Samaveda. Vaishampayana was given Yajurveda. And in 22, it's mentioned that Sumantu Muni, the Sumantu Muni Angira was called the Sumantu, was given the Atharva Veda. And Ugrashrava mentions his father, Romaharshana, was given the Puranas and historical records. And then in 23, it's mentioned that these scholars entrusted the Vedas to their many disciples. So in Bharata, in India, there is a system, it still exists. Gaudiya Vaishnavas are not propagating that system, but actually it's the instruction of Prabhupada to do that. Because Guru Kula means, and this is later on in the 10th canto, you will find it. Study of Vedas was undertaken by Lord Krishna himself. Krishna and Balaram went to the home of Sandipani, who was from Kashi, but was living in Avantika, Avanti, Ujjain. Today is called Ujjain. Sandipani Ashram is famous. And what did he study there in the 10th canto, 45th chapter, verses 33, 34, 35? It says they studied Vedas and Vedangas and Anvikshikim, logic and reasoning, so and Dhanurveda, military science. So we should not forget this. When Prabhupada says we're following Vedic culture, it means the Vedas are also important. That we had to figure out on our own. Actually, our most current previous acharyas had Western education like we did, but they wanted to revive the Vedic educational syllabus. That's what Gurukul means. So I was going to go 10 minutes on each chapter, and we were a little delayed, and 15 minutes is over. So we have 15 minutes to finish.
We can go an extra 10 minutes, not a problem, Prabhuji.
Well, yeah, I'll try and keep it, then, because you have questions also.
Sure.
So what happens that after describing how Vedas were divided by Vyas, it's described by Shukadev that Vyas considered that women and Shudras and Dvijabandhus, those who were born in the higher castes, but actually they were incompetent to study Vedas. And study of Vedas means memorizing Vedas. This is the thing. That was the system. It's just like the old math and the new math. Old math meant memorizing multiplication and addition tables. And nobody wants to do that. So they made a new math. They just gave you an overview and that's it. And that's what we're doing here, telling you the frank truth. We're making an overview. But those Brahmanas still in India, many Brahmanas are dedicated to memorizing one Veda. And then to understand that Veda, you have to learn the Vedangas. Vyakaranam, grammar, is one of the Vedangas. Jyotisham, astronomy, is one of the Vedangas. Kalpa Sutras, how to perform sacrifices, is one of the Vedangas. Nirukta, etymology. So there's Shadangas, 6 angas. And there's also phonetics, shiksha. So there's the Shiksha Sutras, Kalpa Sutras, Vyakaranam, Jyotisham, Chandas, meter, and Nirukta, etymology. So these are the Shadangas. Still, after having compiled Mahabharata, which is called the 5th Veda, he was not satisfied. So what happened? He sat down in the Himalayas, Vyasadeva, and he started to meditate because he felt, even though Vedas are there and Mahabharata was also there, but bhakti was not stressed. So at that point, Vyasadeva was visited by Narada suddenly. So Narad Rishi, his instructions, Narad Muni's instructions to Vyasa are chapter 5. So basically, they discuss, and to give you just a very brief explanation, Mahabharata and Vedas, Krishna tells Arjuna in Gita, Trigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna. Vedas actually mostly deal with dharma, artha, and kama. And moksha is the real business of human life. And Vedas deal with it in the Upanishads, which are called Vedanta. And Vedanta, it's difficult to understand. There are many Upanishads. So Vyasadeva himself made the Vedanta Sutras. And we believe, our acharyas have taught us, that the Bhagavat, what we're reading now, is a commentary on those Vedanta Sutras, the natural commentary. But we also have our acharyas commentary. In Gaudiya Sampradaya, we have Baladev Vidyabhushan's Govinda Bhashya, and Prabhupada has dedicated his translation of Bhagavad Gita to Baladev because he compiled the Govinda Bhashya. So there's a key verse here, which is number 11, 5:11. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abhadyavatyapi namani anantasya yashon kitani yat shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadavaha. So here you should make a note. Very key verse. The translation is that the literature that is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, 1:5:11.
Yeah, sorry, 1:5.
One on the so the transcendental glories of the name, form, pastimes, etc. of the unlimited Supreme Lord is a different creation, full of transcendental words directed toward bringing about a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Such transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest. So Bhagavatam is really, the essence is in the 10th canto. That's why Prabhupada printed the 10th canto before he printed all these other translations of Bhagavatam in the form of Krishna Lila, Krishna. So the Krishna Lila is considered alokikam, divyam, transcendental. Excuse me. So the Vedas are not considered compiled by any ordinary human being. And so there is no imperfection in Vedas. But there is maybe imperfection in Bhagavatam. Maybe means because it was compiled by Vyas. Vedas were not compiled by Vyas, they were divided by Vyas. Vedas are mantras that were heard by rishis. Mantra drashtara. Heard, that means they saw the mantras. And it's considered that they came from the breathing of Vishnu. But the pastimes of Vishnu are, avatars of Vishnu are described here in the Bhagavad. So although it may not be perfect, but this is a recommendation. Recommendation of Narada that you should glorify Vishnu. You should glorify Krishna. This whole chapter is the stress on that. I apologize for this throat. Something in the throat. I am imperfect. Let's see if this helps my throat. So, then Narada, in the end of this chapter, describes his Purva Janma and how he became Narada. So in a Purva Janma, he had a low birth. He was the son of a maidservant. And that maidservant was serving Brahmanas who were studying Vedas. And it says in verse 23, following the principles of Vedanta. Those Brahmanas blessed Narada, even though he was, Dasi Putra, son of a maidservant. And one time it says, once only, text 25, he took the remnants of their food. And by eating the remnants of the food of the rishis, the Brahmanas, all of his papas were destroyed and he became purified. And he heard them glorifying Lord Krishna. Somehow, being, he had only a mother. It doesn't describe that he had a father. And his mother was bitten by a snake and expired. And so he left that place and he started wandering. And he had a darshan of Lord Krishna. I think this is now described. It's described in the next chapter. The story continues in chapter 6. So he was only 5 years old. And while his mother went out to milk a cow, she was bitten by a snake and expired. And so he started wandering all over the land. And he started meditating on the Lord, and Lord, in his heart, revealed himself to him. And he said, the Lord told him that you will only see me this one time. You won't see me again in this lifetime. So this is like Bhakta Dhruva. So only very great souls can have a darshan of the Supreme Lord. So many people say, why can't I see God? But it's not so easy to see God. You have to be free from all the papas. And because we perform karmas, selfish activities for dharma, artha, and kama, we cannot become qualified to see God. And if we see the people who saw God, like Dhruv, Bhakta Dhruv was a little boy also, but he gave up everything. He gave up eating, sleeping. How can we give these things up? We're attached to all of this. Ahar, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And to give it all up, very rare. And that's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. That one about thousands will try for perfection, and hardly one will know. Those who are perfect, hardly one who will know Krishna in truth. So Narada after he left his body, the Dasi Putra body, was given a Divya Shariram. That's in verse 28. And the Pancha Mahabhuta Sharira was finished. So we all have these Pancha Mahabhuta Shariras, bodies made of Prithvi, Jal, Akash, Agni, Vayu. And they will be destroyed. But if we have not destroyed all of our sins, all of the papas, we will have to take another birth. And Krishna told that to Arjuna, Bahuni me bhyatitani janmani tavacharjuna, tani aham veda sarvani. I remember all of the janmas, not tvam veta. You do not remember all of the janmas. So Narada Muni, by the grace of Krishna, had this transcendental alokika, this alokika deha, spiritual body. And he began to glorify Lord Krishna all over the universe. And Vyasadeva was inspired by him to narrate the Bhagavatam, which are the glories of Krishna, in the Dashamaskanda. So I think I covered 3 chapters somehow or other. Did I? 3, 4, 5, and 6. I could do it. Somehow or other.
Taken a little more time if you wish.
No, the essence was, the problem is we are not pure. We are, Kshudra jivas, we are tiny jivas, and when you're in this body, there are so many attractions for sense gratification, and we don't give it up. And after all, if we're following Sanatan Dharma, and if we're following Varnashram Dharma, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. And for women, there's only Grihastha. And actually, for most men, there's only Grihastha. Actually, real Brahmanas only can become sannyasis. And Kshatriyas could become Vanaprasthas. But for Shudras and Vaishyas, there is only Grihastha ashram, according to Vedic concept. So even Prabhupada gave this second initiation to us Westerners and to Indians. And the idea was that many Brahmanas had given up their dharma. And the Vedic Varnashram Padati should carry on. And in the later purports that he wrote, in the 9th canto, especially in the 50th chapter where Lord Ramachandra, Ram Rajyam, is mentioned, he advocates whole world can be uplifted by Varnashram Dharma, and that is Krishna consciousness. But many devotees don't want to accept that. Puzzling, but the whole Vedic culture is in decline. There are no Rajarshis now. What we read in the Puranas and the Mahabharata, we can see the remnants. It's called the Dagda Rajuhu in Sanskrit, burnt rope. A burnt rope looks like a rope, but if you blow on it, it's just dust.
Right.
So the Vedic culture was established in India by great kings. Evam parampara praptam imam raja shayo viduhu in Gita. That this knowledge is ancient, and it was transmitted by kings, rajas, rajarshis. Evam parampara. Before that, param means before. Para, tradition. And that ancient tradition is broken. It was 5,000 years ago when Krishna spoke Gita to Arjuna. He said the tradition was broken and he wanted to reestablish it. And Prabhupada had the same aspiration that the system of Varnashram should be reestablished. Even though we all know that we come from a society that is against it. against the varnashram system. They abolished the kings. Kings, many of them became degraded. But that doesn't mean the system is wrong. It's called throwing out the baby with the bathwater. The bathwater is dirty. So you want to throw it away after giving the baby a bath. But you lose the baby also. So what was the fun? So what's happened now? There is degradation. There was degradation, but you threw out the whole system. And Prabhupada was propagating that the system should not be thrown out. We should follow the Vedic system. Easier said than done. To follow it is tough, but we shouldn't say that it shouldn't be followed. Then you're not a follower of Prabhupada. That's what's happening.
Sure. Hare Krishna.
So,
thank you.
yeah, I mean, I'm giving a brief synopsis of these chapters. You know, it doesn't do full justice to it.
No, but it's still, you know, it gives us...
it's an overview.
It's an overview.
It's an overview.
And we can focus on the key verses as kind of a revision. So thank you, Prabhu. And we can have a quick question-answer session if there are any questions. Devotees, if kindly raise your hand or
electronic hand, which exists here. If you go to the bottom of the screen, there's reactions in Zoom. And if you click on reactions, it says raise hand. Yes, we have Anupama Radharani hand.
Yes.
You have to unmute yourself. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. You said that about the Varnashrama system. So in the present day, should the devotees within ISKCON, should they follow the Varnashrama system, and the Grihastha, should they take up Vanaprastha and then ultimately sannyas, or should they stay on in the Grihastha ashram if they have a nice wife and everything is going on very nicely in their Krishna conscious lives? Thank you.
Prabhupada's instruction was to follow the Varnashram system. Vanaprastha ashram means husband and wife are together. And that is, the Vanaprastha means Kshatriyas and Brahmanas, traditionally. So those who are from the Brahmana, not by birth, but we say, but the Janma is a factor. But real Brahmana means he studied Vedas, he memorized, he studied in the Vedic educational syllabus. We haven't established that yet properly. I mean, there is a reflection of it. But I see a lot of traditional Brahmins, but you see it's from the south of the Narmada River, means Maharashtra, Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, few in Kerala. Actually, it's a few everywhere now because modern educational system has taken over. But there are Brahmanas who study in the Vedic educational system. And those who took Vanaprastha, husband and wife would walk every day to another place. And there were no hotels. There were choltris, they call it in South India, dharmashalas. Or they would stay in the house of a grihastha. And grihasthas were supposed to come on the road and say, if anyone is hungry, meals are ready. And those vanaprasthas used to take the meals in the houses of various grihasthas wherever they wandered. Now, Baladev, in the Bhagavatam, Dashamaskanda, 10th Canto, there's a description of Baladev going on Tirth Yatra. That was Vanaprastha ashram. You would go from one holy place to the other. And you would meditate on, you would associate with the Brahmanas in those places and have satsang like that. Now, that's a small part of the population because Vaishyas and Shudras, according to the description, what is a Vaishya, what is a Shudra, they would never become Vanaprasthas or sannyasis. And sannyas, that sannyas after 75 years of age, go to a forest and wait for death. Nobody's following that now. Nobody means there might be some, very, very few. But those who do take sannyas, they go and stay in some ashram, some holy place. There are very few Brahmins who take sannyas and live in an ashram, like in Banaras or in Haridwar or Vrindavan or wherever, Mayapur. There are people, but their numbers are, if you see the whole population of Hindus and then a whole population of Brahmanas and then who actually goes for sannyas, it's very few. So if you don't do it, maybe you have to come back again and try again and again and again and again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. End of reply there.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other question?
No other hand is up.
So Prabhu,
Oh.
if anybody else has, I may ask one more question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Prabhu, just like Narad Muni remembered his previous material birth, does the jiva also remember his previous material birth when after one is liberated?
Not sure, but by the grace of Krishna, it's possible. Whether it's anivarya, whether it actually happens to everyone, I can't say. I don't see a reference in Shastras to that once you attain a spiritual body, you remember all of your material births. Same time, because Gita, Krishna says, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishtaha, I enter everyone's heart. Mattaha, from me, Smriti, remembrance. Matta Smritir Jnanam, Jnanam, Gyan. Jnanam is the Sanskrit knowledge. Apohanam cha, forgetfulness. So this forgetfulness is given by Krishna. And Prabhupada had commented that if you remembered all of your janmas, you would go crazy. So you don't remember all the janmas. But, by his grace, it's possible. He told Arjuna, Natvam Veta, right? Bahuni me vyathitani janmani tavacharjuna sthani aham veda sarvani natvam Veta. I remember all the janmas, you don't. But he could grant that remembrance, like he granted Narad Muni. Others were also granted. That's called Jati Smara. You remember your Purva Janma.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So any last question before we end the session? It's late for Prabhu. Okay, I think...
there's no other question, no other hand up. Anyway, it's a nice group. I see 26 names, and it's going out on Facebook.
That's right.
A lot of other people.
That's right.
I actually, previously, I was setting up my own telephone camera and broadcasting it on my own Facebook page also. Maybe from tomorrow. Today, I got busy sending out. I didn't send out to all of my broadcast lists on WhatsApp, the poster. So just before this began, I did that. And I was busy with some email correspondence that was backlogged. There's still a lot of other email correspondence that's backlogged. Anyway, I'm not managing my time.
We'll have many more sessions like this. So we'll have.
We'll take the next 3 chapters tomorrow.
That's right.
And the last day we'll do 4 chapters.
Sure.
It's just a brief overview.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. And thank you all.
Oh, there's a hand up.
There is a hand up. So Parish Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Namaskar.
I will speak something in Gujarati because you understand that you are from Vadodara, and I have studied and and my parents still have a house in Vadodara. So came to Jai Shri Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Vadodara ma rahe che kya che?
My mother is still in Vadodara, and my small brother. Yeah, we stay in the old Padra Road.
હા તો મંદિર પાસે છે અમારા
બરાબર.
મંદિર ગોઠવી રોડમાં છે.
Okay, right. So
Right.
earlier we used to stay in Kalindi, Pashabai Park. So that was now
ભાષાભાઈ
we are
પાર્ક
in
પણ
Muscat.
પાસે છે એટલું વધારે દૂર નથી.
બરાબર, right, sir.
ઇસ્કાન મંદિર વધારે દૂર નથી.
Prabhuji, what you told was the clear, pure, like pure honey. What you told today was just
Thank you.
like pure honey. You know, we should be like, what I understand is, I'm not discuss about everyone, but for me, I thought that I will take it like small, pin by pin, put it in water and try to digest it throughout the day, what you told, because it was like pure nectar. So what you said is a sankshipt of the whole chapter.
Right.
So it will take us time to go through what you told about the Narada Muni and what you told about the clear, what we should be doing and how we should be performing. So thank you very much, Guruji, for that. And I am really, really delighted to be here. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Namaskar.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Paresh Prabhu.
સારું.
So,
અચ્છા આશર એટલે કચ્છી ભાતિયા કદાચ
Yes,
ભાતિયા
yes.
ભાતી કચ્છી ભાતી.
Yeah.
There was one એક કચ્છી ભાતિયા ત્યારે ટચમાં નથી પણ એમના દુકાન હતા ગોઠવી રોડમાં મેડિકલ વર્ષો પહેલા બંધ થઈ ગયો એમના નામ
Okay.
યાદ નથી પણ ઊંચા કચ્છી ભાતિયા વડોદરામાં ઊંચા છે
Barabar.
એટલા મોટા સમાજ નથી વડોદરામાં.
Ah,
And there
અને
are some few.
મારી વાઇફ સ્ટાર્ટેડ ધ ICICI બેંક જે વડોદરામાં ચાલુ થઈ ને સૌથી પહેલી
Oh.
એની બ્રાન્ચ
Oh.
સૌથી પહેલી એને ચાલુ કરી હતી અને હું IPCL માં હતો પહેલા IPCL કરીને હતી
અચ્છા okay.
રિલાયન્સ એટલે 83 માં
right.
ત્યાંથી મેં જોઈન કર્યું.
Oh, 83 માં હું ભારતીય નાગરિક બની ગયા.
હા
Indian
અને 20
citizen.
વર્ષ 20 years I was there, then I moved out from there.
And you're in Muscat now?
Yeah, I was in Dubai earlier. Now I am in Muscat. So around 10 years now in Muscat and 8-9 years in Dubai.
So Kachi Bhati has constructed one Krishna temple there in Muscat.
Ah, yes,
What I understand. I never visited that. I heard about it.
yes.
It's running nicely.
Yeah. This is a very beautiful temple.
Who's the king of Oman now? That king expired, right? Sultan and